I'm Nydia Han. I'll be moderating a workshop for the Pennsylvania Conference for Women on November 19th. 6ABC is a proud media sponsor. The workshop and the conference will feature 100 plus special guests, and we'll be talking about everything from how to negotiate a raise to how to quiet your inner critic. Today's interview is about work-life balance, and who better to talk about that than the Honorable Alison Young. Alison, talk about what you're doing today and what it is like to go back to work. I know you just went back to work recently after having a daughter, right?
I did. Thanks, Nydia. Yes, I have a 1-year-old daughter now, and I went back to work when she was about 5.5 months old, and it's been a challenge. And I've created some great work-life hacks that I think work really well for me, and I've also failed a few times. So it's been up and down, and I think that I've finally reached a point of stasis.
Now, you are the executive director for the Institute for Strategic Leadership for Drexel University's LeBow College of Business.
Correct.
It's a big job with a big name. So
true.
Let's talk about what some of your tips are for women.
You know, there's a lot of them revolve around having somebody that's very supportive. I have both a supportive spouse and thankfully a supportive manager at Drexel. So one of my favorite work-life hacks that may sound silly that my husband and I have created is what I call time dollars. And if something costs us more to do in our own time than it would to pay someone who's a professional, we do it. So for example, when I went back to work, we had to hire a nanny. And so we started looking at the very complicated world of nanny taxes. And there are a lot of online tools that can help you do it. We just couldn't. So the time that we were spending was costing us more than it would to actually hire a professional. So time dollars is one of my favorite work-life hacks, and it's about valuing your own time.
Any other special hacks?
Well, one of mine is that I take SEPTA. So even as I've returned to work and I'm carrying my breast pump back and forth to work on a daily basis, that 15 minutes that I get to and from work every day to myself while I'm on SEPTA and not in my car, it's a great way for me to save time.
A lot of people talk about having it all. Do you think you can have it all? Is that one of the things you're trying to achieve with this work-life balance?
I think everyone's definition of all is different. So what I've achieved in the course of this year is very satisfying for me. And I've managed to create, there's never a balance where it's 50-50. So I've managed to create a balance that works for me. And to me, that's having it all. So I have my work life, I have my personal life, and I have my family time. And all three of those things are helping me feel fed and feel like I have the balance that I need.
One of the things that I do is I sort of compartmentalize. So I feel like when I'm at work, I'm working. When I'm at home, the phone's off, the TV's off, and I'm at home with the children and with my husband. Do you think, is that one of your tactics too, or is that just me?
We do. We have no phone time. You know, it's very easy to, even if you don't have kids, it's very easy to spend all of your time at home with your spouse or partner on your phone, looking at Facebook or responding to emails. And so we have no phone time. No phones at the dinner table, no phone when you have that wonderful hour in the morning when she's happy and excited to be starting her day. And it's the way that we've, kind of trained ourselves to compartmentalize that time a little bit. You're right.
So we've talked a lot about the practicalities and the logistics, but there's also an emotional balance I think you have to make. I know sometimes for me with a 3-year-old and a 19-month-old, I still sometimes leave home in the morning feeling a little bit guilty. So how do you manage that kind of balance, the emotional balance?
I've learned to, that's a good question, and I've learned to let go of some things a little bit. So if I am, the time that it takes me to walk to SEPTA and get to work, I've more than once pulled out a tissue in tears, and it happens. For me, it's been about being fallible and being vulnerable and allowing myself to do that, and that's what's gotten me through some of those times where I do feel guilty, and the days where you say, you know what, I can't have it all and I'm stuck. So I think that every working mother faces this challenge where there are days when you always feel like you're in the wrong place.
I know for me it's really important to talk to some of my friends and my coworkers about how I'm feeling and how I'm perhaps not coping that day. Do you think that having a support network of women like that is important?
I do, and I'm fortunate to have a lot of women at Drexel that are either having children or have had children, or even those that have been beyond that. They're awfully supportive, and particularly if you ask for help. So that's probably one of my better work-life hacks is that I've learned that when people offer help, accept it. When there's an opportunity to ask for help, people are willing to help you.
You talked about letting some things go. Are there any specific things? I know for me, some of the things that I've had to let go are some of the me time things. I don't work out as much as I used to, that sort of thing. How about for you?
I think that's one of the things. The gym time is hard for me because that was my mental break time. You know, you get on a treadmill and that's the time that you just let. For me, it was when I just let my mind wander. So gym time particularly, I used to celebrate a month every year that I called Alley Palooza, and that was when I spent time just traveling and visiting my friends and making sure that people in my life knew that they were important to me. So I think those are some of the things that I've had to try to find ways to connect with people in maybe with not enough time, with the same amount of time that I had before. So those are some things that I'm still struggling with, and that I frankly get wrong sometimes. You know, I've missed more than one birthday this year, and you know, more than one family occasion we haven't been present for. But you're constantly working on it.
Yeah.
So
and I'm
I'll get
sure
better.
people forgive you. We all need a little forgiveness. I think we need to forgive ourselves too.
That's true.
Anything you'd like to add? I know that you're going to be talking about so much more in your work-life balance workshop, but is there anything else that you'd like to add now?
One of the things that we're talking a lot about at this conference, and also at Drexel, is how women need to be more engaged. And so I think a lot of women fear when they've got all these work-life issues that they can't do all the other things that maybe they'd like to do. And there's actually a good body of research out there that shows that the women that have that are working mothers and that have all these extra activities actually volunteer more as well. So I think one of the things that I'm hoping that people will connect to at the conference and otherwise is knowing that they have that time to be more engaged, and that we as a group of women, particularly in this area, that are pretty supportive of one another, to stand up and do the things that really feed us so that we can have that balance.
Right. It's good for all of us.
It's good for all of us.
Thanks a lot, Alison.
It's my pleasure.
Appreciate your joining us, and we will see all of you at the Pennsylvania Conference for Women.